No, man. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. And what's your Christmas present under the tree? Here we go.
How Trump transforms democracy to dictatorship, a warning America can't afford to ignore. It's over in his post under the Daily Take tab there. And, Adam Kinzinger is wondering out loud if President Musk is going to let Vice President Trump and Speaker Johnson keep the government open or if he's going to force them to shut it down. This is really all about raising the debt ceiling. Here's the deal. In order for Trump to extend his tax cuts, his tax cuts for billionaires back, when he passed them during his last presidency, led to the largest single one-term contribution to the national debt in the history of America. $7.5 trillion in debt was added to our national debt just by Trump. And if he extends that tax cut, which expires next year, if he extends that tax cut again, or even makes it bigger, it's going to add another $7 or $8 trillion to our national debt. And that means he's going to have to raise the debt ceiling. Well, he doesn't want to do that. He wants Biden to get blamed for that. And so what he's saying is, you got to raise the debt ceiling now. And Mike Johnson is going to be working on a bill that will do that. It seems like a bizarre power play, but there's really a much bigger story here. And the bigger story is that Donald Trump, as he is basically teaching America right now, you can't disentangle billionaires, in other words, oligarchy, from essentially fascism, authoritarianism. They require each other. Authoritarians require billionaire oligarchs. Billionaire oligarchs prefer authoritarians. And every time a democracy has collapsed, whether it was the Greek democracy, Roman Republic 2,000 years ago, or all the modern countries today, Russia, Hungary, Egypt, the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Venezuela, Turkey, you name it, that started out as democracies. The way that every single one of them is a very simple, straightforward three-part formula. Number one, the autocrat needs a compliant and financially national media, number one. They have to control media. Number two, they need subservient, terrified, and complicit politicians. And number three, they need a captured and corrupt judiciary. So how do they go about doing this? Like I said, this is nothing new. So the first major roadblock to authoritarian capture of a country is the press. As long as the public is well informed, can't pull off what he's trying to do.
Hey, put this
the
in your
second
ear.
biggest obstacle
I know how you think
to a fascist takeover
always speak in Spanish, you can never understand anything.
Itself. This is
Under
what
the
this
law
is
of the sea.
how Trump got his nose bloody.
Law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on that particular land. However, there is a higher law that dominates the entire world. It's called the law of the water, or the law of the high seas.
We are water.
The law of water is referred to as the law of money. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from, or where you live. Money is money.
Do you ever feel like you're just another number in the system? You pay taxes, sign contracts, and follow rules you never agreed to, but why? The truth is, from the moment you were born, your life has been governed by two ancient laws, the law of the land and the law of the sea. When you were born, you weren't just issued a birth certificate. That certificate is more than a record. It's a contract, a financial instrument that turns you into a product within the system. These two laws control everything, your money, your identity, and even the courts. Under the law of the sea, you're treated as cargo, tracked, taxed, and traded. Under the law of the land, your freedoms are restricted by local rules and customs. Ever notice how your name appears in all caps on your birth certificate, driver's license, and government documents? That's not random. It's part of a system rooted in maritime trading laws that treat you not as a living being, but as a corporation. Step into a courtroom, and the signs are everywhere. The judge sits higher than you, symbolizing authority. The dock where you stand mimics how ships dock in ports. The bar separates you from the judge's bench, tying back to banks where commerce is controlled. Even the gold fringe on the flag signifies maritime law. These aren't mere decorations. They're reminders of a hidden system where everything, including you, is commerce. Here's the catch. By showing up, you're consenting to this system. In court, you're not treated as a person. You're reduced to a legal fission, your straw man, a corporate entity separate from your physical self. Why? Because under maritime law, everything is about contracts, obligations, and control. Think about this. Your social security number isn't just an ID. It's a tracking number for your corporate trust. The money in your wallet isn't real money. It's debt notes. I owe you. Promises from the Federal Reserve. Every license you hold, contract you sign, and tax you pay feeds into this system, whether you realize it or not. But here's what most people miss. This system only works through consent. By understanding these hidden laws, you begin to see how they shape your life and take back control. There are two systems at play in this world. One for those who know the rules, and another for those who don't. In the same courtroom, the rules can shift based on how you present yourself and which jurisdiction you unknowingly accept.
Ooh, you didn't
Those
know.
who understand these hidden laws
Didn't know you were a slave, did you? Right? So, what is mimetic magic? What you were just hearing that gentleman talk about in cash, and that your birth certificate is your slave ID, right? Real knowledge and wisdom have been suppressed and concealed for far too long. Now it is time for the realization of the human evolutionary potential. The truth has been with us all along. The false God, bred of control and unjustified oppression, will fall as a real wisdom matrix spreads across the face of this rapidly transforming earth. Mental slavery is real. The tradition of the Haitian Revolution of 1791, meaning that's when they basically realized the Hegelian operation of, problem, action, solution, and they threw it off, and they showed how you could get out of the straitjacket of that materialism. The perfect life tunnel with fries my flesh and blood from contracting with the legalities, corporate code, UCC, not under that jurisdiction. Yep, not under that jurisdiction. That's why I'm Sensei Al-Bob, not my slave name, right? And Christmas is a pagan holiday. When you really look at, Jesus was born 230 something days after John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist was born somewhere in around March. So that means that Jesus was born around sometime in September, right? So he's a Virgo, right? Anyway, all of the stuff that we are controlled by are basically Roman pagan motifs. And Christianity is a Roman pagan motif. They just switched in midstream. They said, oh, you can't change horses, right? No, you can. They went from pagan gods to Christian saints. Right? So, shit's gonna hit the fan. And so Donnie made us, we almost had this, stretch out the motif of our budget, right? And Elon said that, basically told all of the Republicans, the mega crowd, sink this, no, we want collapse, and we want it happening on JoJo's time, right? Well, again, this is a Hegelian soap opera. So basically, both sides are reading the same script, right? So basically, Democrats said, no, we worked this out. We spent weeks and weeks, having the way it's supposed to work, and we're just about to vote it in. We had all the votes, and now you're saying no. And Elon said, listen, I got all this money. I have my own PACs, and whoever goes against me, I will pack you out, when you run for your office, meaning you won't even get to the major. You'll be stuck and gotten rid of in the minor. And so he's threatening everyone, right? So, basically, Elon Musk has become president without even one vote for him. Now, this isn't a fascist push. I don't know what is. Right? So, but it doesn't matter because he's been doing this since the founding fathers. This ain't anything new. Good luck with that. And that's why I live on $400 a month. Because no matter what the economy does, it's really not going to touch me. I mean, yeah, we're supposed to have a big snowstorm. Let's give you a good look. So right out the window, that line right there. The wind is blowing this way. So if that thing that's south of here basically comes up, we really won't have any snow. If the big black clouds above me keep pushing south, we'll have somewhere between 3 and 10 inches, right? So that's why I'm here. I'm gonna go stay at an undisclosed place and take care of people's stuff and things and them, and not be in the deep green, because the road out of the deep green is totally screwed, and then the county road is falling apart. We have one big chunk that the event took out, but because it's being overused, because that chunk isn't being used, other roads are slipping into the lake, right? So if any ice forms on any of those, it's going to be, so I'm going to be in a nice kind of safe place, not too far from the major goings on, so I'll be fine. And the heat that's there is gas. Even the electricity goes off, it'll still keep the place warm. Jingle bells, away. One horse open way. Whee! Go back to go all the way. Whee! Jingle bells, go all the way. Whee! So, let's get back to this lad's, and the publishing company is called Jagger Temple Press, right? And their email is JAGUARTEMPLEPRESS@hotmail.com. So I say go to their thing, see what kind of interesting stuff is there. This guy, right? So his contents, shamanism and memetics. Memetic magic, real school memetic, memetic magical theory in practice, artistic memetic magic, gender memetic magic, gender linguistic similes and symbols, memetic mythological interpretations, Homo sapiens sapien DOMFNUS. Counterbodies, control fields, impossibility walls, symbolic body language of the opening of the eyes. There's the third eye, but there's a whole bunch of other eyes, right? The whole Kalop. CALLOPE. That's the 9 doors, right? Shamanism and mimetic magic. The entire mimetic magical system, including especially the artistic mimetic magic, can be seen as a modern re-manifestation of the archaic currents of shamanism. Shamanism is kind of the physical, when it's a window. You're on this side, you are in the ether. You're on this side, you're in the sandbox. So you're looking through this, and that's kind of your psychology. That's why your Sensei Al Bob, your griot, here to tell you a story, basically looks at from a shamanic point of view, right? I don't see it as religion. God said, hey, don't follow any religion. That's a false idol. Don't, in the 10 Commandments, only, anything else other than me, and that me is in you, right? When the Hebrews were, dissing God, making a golden calf and not listening to him, everybody was starting to die of being bit by snakes, right? And so, oh, Moses, help us, tell us, God, we're sorry, we didn't mean to. And God said, oh, no problem. Moses, here's a little statue of a snake, put it on a big stick it here, and tell everyone to look at it. Everyone who looks at it will be healed of their maladies, right? You don't have to believe in me. You don't have to pray to me. You don't have to make any sacraments, no blood sacrifices, none of the above, because I want you guys to have this understanding of the relationship of co-creation in love. You look at the thing, that's because, right? You don't have to say anything. Just pick your head up at the snake on the end of the stick. Bang, you're all better. For goodness sake, oh, better watch out, better not cry, better not shout, telling you why. Santa's a badass dude, and I know because I'm Bob, his younger brother, Bob Claus, taking care of the naughty and nice list. I know all of you fools out there who's naughty and nice. I know you. Do, 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 do. So, what else is going on? Can you tell me? Can you tell me? Can you tell me? Let's hear some stuff from you guys. It's Jamie, you the only guy there? Ooh, ooh. So here's our boy.
What would I should do? Yes, I'll play this guitar. Yes, I'll play this guitar. Cool. Not the type of thing I usually like to say. Good old skeleton man. Good looks. Goo Goo Dolls lead singer. Who's gonna end up being 100 years old with a really skinny skeleton, good-looking face.
Hey, real quick.
Real quick.
Thousands of Americans are piggybacking off an IRS loophole.
Powerful while placing your freedom at risk. For further insights into Whitney Webb's conversation with James Patrick, be sure to watch clips from the interview. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more content.
Subscribe to my
Enjoy
channel.
the video.
Give me
It's
some
quite
like
clear that the way to force onboarding of the CBDC is going to be some sort of crisis, some sort of event where people will be made an offer they can't refuse, essentially. Whatever that
I'm gonna put
crisis
this girl
is that creates the situation where
She is
people
the local
will have,
opposition,
very
the
little
loyal
choice but to
opposition.
onboard to this new digital currency system. It could manifest in a number of ways, but regardless of how it manifests, what the narrative is going to be is that privacy is dangerous, anonymity is dangerous, specifically financial progress. Those are going to be the narratives that come out of this event, and that's going to be to force onboarding both onto digital currency that can be tracked to stop terror financing or things of that nature. And also we have to know who everybody online is, or we have to know who everybody is interacting with these systems. We need digital ID. Well, there's a couple of reasons why I think we'd want to have private banks have like a major role in this digital currency system to come. If there's a private sector entity banking you and managing your money, it's much easier for them to bank you than the federal government. So, for example, if the Federal Reserve were to do a direct issue CBDC, it would be harder for them to freeze someone's bank
She's
account
still alive because
or
they need
debank
her.
them in any
right?
sort of significant way.
She's
as
telling
opposed to a
everyone what
private
it's going to
company where
be,
you
so
have,
they'll accept it.
for example, precedents where JP Morgan Chase, for example, debanked Dr. Mercola and some of his executives and didn't give any reason as to why. They just said, we can no longer provide you with financial services. No questions asked. That would be very hard to do in the case of a direct issued CBDC. This is something similar to the argument that's been made for social media companies censoring. They say, oh, but they're private companies, so they can restrict speech however they want, but we know now that their restrictions on private speech have been a result of public sector pressure, right? So again, people need to keep in mind that this is a public-private partnership. That's the prevailing model in the United States. The digital dollar in the United States is also going to be a public-private model. You'll have the Fed, the central bank, working with the private banks that own the Fed in the United States, and that will be the partnership between them will be the system. It's not going to be all public. It's not going to be all private. It is a partnership. If the Fed were to do a direct issued CBDC, it would take them a few years to design, experiment, and deploy it. If you're using these existing dollar peg stable coins, those are already here. They're already on blockchains. And a lot of those phases that would take the Fed a few years have already been accomplished if you choose to use those. And if you regulate them so that they have to, for example, keep their reserves at the Fed, then you're able to sort of have the same kind of system, but you don't have to go through the process of creating a direct issued CBDC. So one of the biggest developers right now of CBDCs is this company called R3 that's backed by some of the biggest Wall Street banks in the world. And they were named by central banking.
The biggest lie we've been told is that neuropathy is irreversible and there's no cure. They do it on purpose. The medical system lies to us.
To fill 1,000 very important positions, which will
Catherine
then
Austin
fill
Fitts.
10,000 positions. And if you look at the deep state, you look at what the people want, everybody's trying to get their people into position. And it's not clear, which side is going to win the personnel. And there are a couple of major issues. Obviously, the new president can't do anything until the January 21st, but they can have an influence on what's happening both in the current administration and with people around the world. The Trump still has many different lawsuits to deal with.
Yeah.
And how those lawsuits, both civil and criminal, are going to play out, is yet to be decided. And there's a real process that has to go on that's going to put a lot of controls on the president. The second thing is you have war in the Ukraine, war threatened with Iran in the Middle East, and we know many people voted for Trump because they were hoping that we could turn that situation down, and go back to trading instead of making war. And so there will be real pressure on the president to indicate which way he's going, and we don't know. We don't know yet if the president is serious about changing the deep state or simply facilitating a new phase of the deep state. Until we see what he's going to do on the wars, until we see the staffing, and until we see him talk about or bring transparency. So, for example, he promised in the first administration that he would make public the Kennedy files and then decided not to. And if you listen to his reasons, he believed that was the responsible thing to do. Now he's saying he's going to release them. And those files could have a dramatic impact on America, not just politically, but culturally.
Yeah, that's the main question is here. Is he going to drain the swamp? And so what are your feelings around that question?
So it's very interesting. If you see some of the people around the president, they're the ones who really do want to drain the swamp. But if you see many people around the president, they're the ones who are building the swamp. So if you drill down to some of his policies, for example, promoting digital IDs and using election fraud and immigration as a reason for a digital ID, or you see his promotion of private crypto in a major way involved in the federal finances. If you see his attacks on civil service and want to swap in private contractors for the civil service, I would say that's building and expanding the power of the deep state. So there are going to be a couple of key issues. He got us out of the WHO before. It's imperative he get us out of the WHO again. Will he do that? Will he get us back out of the Paris Agreement as he did in the first administration? So you're going to see, when I say the campaign starts today, you're going to see a real competition between the people around him who want to build the deep state. The big issue in America right now is the central bankers would like to assert much more control over fiscal policy and achieve much more transparency. Much more independence than they have under the law. They're still accountable to Congress, and they're going to work hard to get Trump to help them do that. And stripping out the civil service and replacing it with big tech will help them do that.
Interesting you said, because earlier you mentioned that the corruption is not in Washington. What do you mean by that?
So if you look at the dependency of the American crime and war, you know, the deep something that happens in Washington. It's something that happens within the cash flows of every county in America. So the 3,100 counties and 50 states, and those counties and states are highly dependent on the machinery, the financial machinery of the deep state. And so the corruption, whether it's organized crime or war, is really bottom up. And many people in America say they want Trump to reduce our dependency on organized crime, reduce our dependency on money laundering. At the same time, we're not prepared to deal with the financial ramifications if he does. So if you're the president, you walk into the Oval Office and your political guy is going to say, well, Mr. President, the American people have spent billions to get you elected. Now they want their government grant. They want their government purchase. They want their community block grant. They want something that's going to come to them through the budget, whether appropriations and federal credit. And you're going to turn to your Secretary of Treasury and say, okay, well, how do I fund this? And he's going to say, well, you better be nice to the people who control the war machine and the organized crime cash flows who launder the money. So you are highly dependent on a machinery that the American people continue to want the money.
Yeah.
So how does the president change that unless 3,100 counties are willing to change their dependency on it?
Good question.
Right.
Yeah, because basically it's not up to Trump.
Good question. Are you ready to stop taking the money from the mob? If you don't realize that all of those oligarch billionaires are just poster boys of the mob, right? And who is the mob? Hail Hydra. It's not Tony Two Toes and Bobby Bentnos. No. It is, the Red Skull, right? It's everything that, Mr. Marvel says it is, right? So, and he was, the loyal opposition. Everything, you see everything in Marvel world. It's kind of what's going on behind the curtain, everything about Captain America and S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra is exactly what it is. And, S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, Hail Hydra. It's, and why am I still alive? Because I am the loyal opposition, I'm here. They need guys like me and Christine and the other girl to tell you what's going on, right? And because if you don't know, you can't sign your soul away, right? Because if they just trick you like they have been for the last 16,000 years, through religion and beliefs and so these claims are, another paragraph, within the socio-cultural matrix formed by Western civilization, the mentic, magical system would necessarily be seen by the majority of human inhabitants of these cultural systems as a complementary, new, and unique system resting on two incredible, borderline, unbelievable claims. These claims are that the fabric of reality can be manipulated through nothing more complex than artistic endeavors. And that is true. They are called sitchins. These patterns, when I basically, showed you back in a ways. Let's see if I can get this up. Go to my photos. I always put everything I want at the other end. Here we go. We're getting close. Here's the deep green. And that's plastic little balls. Not snow, really. Because it was about 60 degrees, right? Frosty the Snowman. Here we go.
Look up in the sky. What is those? Oh, that's a jet. I don't know what those are. It's called chemtrails, kids. That is putting particulate matter into the sky to precipitate rain, or to keep rain from happening, or getting, micro elements. Look at that, way up there. Look at that. That isn't a natural. That's not clouds. Clouds don't make X's. Look at all that.
See that thing right up there? That's a sitchin.
It's right over my head. It's like
It's a
I'm
magic symbol.
targeted. But that's okay. Look at all that. Right there is a sitchin. See that thing right there in the middle? Right there, that's a sitchin. Come on, dance. End time dance. X marks the spot. There's another X. They're all over the place. And they feather out and make clouds. For your entertainment. Me tonight. Look at that. See how it's feathering it out? And then the sky will just be all silver, no longer blue. Kids think the sky is silver, not blue. But just kind of happening. Oh, look at that sitchin. I love it. So, I love Donnie, too. Dance, kids, dance. Come on. Oh, yeah. Tonight. I mean, it's a whole skyscraper in that
way.
thing. Look at it. And you're breathing it. It's getting in your skin, in your nose, in your lungs. Tonight. Entertainment.
Away. Oh, what fun it is to ride when going straight to hell.
There's Bugs Bunny up there.
We're already here. Oh, all the way.
So good luck. I've been talking about the big splash for 7 years.
Your soul.
Going on and on and on. Go back and watch my shows. Go on.
Go on. Wait.
What is that? The anarchy sign or the owl sign? Or what's the diff? Well, the diff is anarchists are good fellows, fellow travelers, what they call a loyal opposition. Think about,
jingle bells, jingle bells.
I wonder if RFK is going to talk about this. You know, he says, "Oh, we got to get rid of the fluoride in the water." Good luck with that. It's been there for 100 years.
Yes, it's been there for 100 years and longer. And I don't know if you noticed, I'm coughing a lot. It's basically from that, right? From that day, right? And I knew I was being exposed. And so, but I'm here not under their auspices, but under love's co-creation, right? That's all I'm here for. I should have died 7 years ago. So every day, every minute I have now, I live in the moment, and I am blessed. I feel grateful. I'm great. I got rid of all my wealth, sold it, got rid of it, gave it away, gave most of it away. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride. So, any questions? Hey. So don't get scared when there is a global catastrophe. Just remember there was one in 2008, right? And we went, be more, not bless. Bless. Okay. Marker 113. I like the sky greater or less than, right? Be more, not be less. Right. Exactly. Right? And it doesn't matter where this little body is or what credit card you have or any of it. It's what your soul, that spirit that's inside of you in co-creation, right? So, I have, I don't spend money I don't have. This breakfast, a friend of mine was how he doesn't know how poor people live because he had just sent his dog to the vet, and it cost him like $1,000. His little, and his dog is like old. His dog is like probably 12 years old, so it's gonna die. No matter what you do to it, it's gonna die. So just give it a nice pillow by the fire and let it die. And be nice to it. Don't ignore it. And that's I know my bud and his family, and they don't do anything with a dog unless the dog starts barking, and they put some more food in his bowl and he eats it, and anyway. So that's us. That's humans. That's us. We bark. They put more food in the bowl. Right. Now me, I don't really do that. Right. I eat very little. And if I do eat something, I come here. They have one thing I like here, and that's a nice Western omelet. That's all they have. And they have really good ice cream. So once or twice a week in the afternoon, I'm traveling by. I stop in, talk to you guys. What's on the horizon? And, I have a little ice cream cone. Right. That's it. And that's what the material world should be like. Meaning not. Oh my God, I have to have this, I have to have that, I have to have the newest iPhone, blah, blah, blah. No. I had the oldest, crappiest phone there ever was. And it kept threatening to shut it down unless I got the new phone or a new OS or whatever. I just ignored it. It just kept doing its thing. That was good enough. And then the guy from Microsoft, the superhero, he gave me an iPhone 12. He had a suitcase full of them. He said, "Which one do you want?" I said, "Oh, that one that's really bright and it's not black. It's a color I can see. So if I drop it, I can find it." So he, just went. He transferred everything from my one phone onto the new phone, and there you go. Now I have the newest i12 thing they got. Yeah, it's really great. It picks up, it sucks in the signal from there because it's saying to the tower, "I'm a rich guy. I deserve the cell signal more than the poor," right? And that's, we are going to have probably around Christmas or before New Year's Eve, a solar event will be an EMT that'll wipe out a lot of stuff. And the only thing that will survive is Elon Musk's Skylink, right? And anybody who has the Elon Musk Skylink cell phone, That's the only thing that's going to work. And no money's going to work. Your cards aren't going to work. But if you have Elon Musk's iPhone, it'll be Elon Musk, Sky X money, right? And, so he will basically give you a phone that will hear everything. But hey, we already have that. These devices are a miniaturization of the 1968 NSA, CIA, Hail Hydra keyhole satellite, right? Which was the size of a school bus up there in space, right? So, and that could read things off of a cigarette packet, right? It could, from 300 miles up, it could suck in any radio signal underneath it, right? So there we go. That's what and SpaceX keeps shooting up Dragons, that shit out, Skylink. So there's like 5, 25, 40, 50, 100,000 little Skylink low Earth orbit satellites right above your head. Instead of a cell tower over on that mountaintop, it's just right up there, right? That's why I get great signal off that phone, right? Because instead of that thing over there and those mountains in the way, it's the thing from above. So be more, not be less, right? That means, who are you? What's inside of you? What is that great hope, Cultural systems as a completely new and unique systems resting on two inconsiderable borderlines, unbelievable claims. These claims are that the fabric of reality can be manipulated through nothing more complex than artistic endeavors. That means advertising, that means television, that means your cell phone, movies, etc., magazines, newspapers, that's what they're talking about. And that's the power to create powerful artwork can be obtained simply by strict isolation. So that's, back in the 70s, I started a thing called the Institute for Aesthetically Adept and Appropriate Technologies. And that's exactly what this thing is. It's all of those things that I read over here, right? Those are things I talked about in 1973. Those are the things that, why I was part of this thing called Alternative Technologies in the UN as an NGO. Yeah, I was the electrical guy, and I came up with really interesting things like, biggest problem in the South and first, really poor people in Africa and Asia, they don't have any drinking water. Well, what's their biggest environmental problem? These 2-liter soda bottles. Oh, good. So let's take whatever water they have right at their feet, put it in the bottle, stick it in the sun for a day. Next day, have another clean bottle right next to it with a funnel and a little cheesecloth. Slowly pour the water that's not gooey, it's as clear as possible, least particulate matter into that new clean soda bottle. Put the cap on, put it in the sun, leave it there in the sun for a day. Next day, do it again. Do it for 4 days in a row, and you will have, basically distilled potable water, right? Because the UV is coming through that bottle, killing everything. And the more the particulate matter you get out, which is holes, it's a binding characteristic of the biologic, you're going to have cleaner and cleaner water. After 4 days, you got potable water, right? Right? So we did that, right? And so, and a year and a half after we started, we had UNICEF do it, had the kids collect the bottles, show them how to put the water in it, so that mommy didn't have to walk 30 miles down to the spring, wait online for 2 hours, get a bucket of water, and come back with it. No, they could just do it at home. Anyway, so that worked great. Saved 5 million lives over 3 years, just simply doing that, being our better, right? And then what happened? The company that made the plastic changed it so the plastic no longer let UV through, and those bottles, it didn't work anymore. The Lord be faithful joyful and triumphant Walmart's, oh, Walmart's Target. Tesla X, 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 Tesla X, 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 Tesla. Why did they name it Tesla? Well, Elon had no idea why. He didn't even know who he was. Who's your favorite inventor? Edison. Why? Because he made so much money. He didn't invent anything. He stole it, and that's what Elon does. He doesn't invent squat. He doesn't know squat. He's a turnip. He does what he is told on a global scale and has global effect. Good luck with that. He's going to talk to Xi Jinping, and he's going to talk to Israel Boy, and he's going to talk to Arab kids, and good luck with all that. Next year, all your baby children are going to be under the Christmas tree of rich people. So those babies, it's like, Adolf Hitler was a real nice guy. He loved children as long as they were barbecued correctly and had the right sauce, right? The secret sauce, right? Oozed on top of the babies. That when you deep fry babies, that skin is crisp, yum, better than duck, right? Better than your pets. That's your pets. You gotta shave off the hair. Humans pretty much just skin, like pigs. Pigs and humans pretty much same. Sleep in heavenly excess. Be morbidly obese. Boo, 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 boo. Whatever religion you have, no, it's just the holy dollar. Unless you can hear the tuning fork inside, can you? Jane, do you hear the tuning fork inside? How do you know things are appropriate in a debt? It's the best time of the year. Oh, by Holly.
See on it.
Good question.
Right.
Yeah, because basically it's not up to Trump.
Well, here's the thing. Where you get really powerful change, and we've seen this in the last year, is where you get an alignment between interests in Washington. So you get a couple of really great congressmen. We still have some very good legislators, both in the Senate and House. And where you get alignment between them and the state legislators, the governors, and the AGs. So one of the reasons you saw real support for the Republicans, if you look at the great freedom fighters across the country, in the treasurer's office, in the AG's office, in the state legislator's office, in the governor's office, what they will all tell you is if we have a Republican White House, we can get far more done in terms of turning the machinery. So where you can get that alignment between the states and the state officials and the president, and you get popular support, that's when you can start to turn the machinery. Without those alignments, it's not going to happen.
David.
Hi, Catherine. Yeah, I was wondering how much power or influence do you think Robert Kennedy has?
So it will be interesting to say the most important thing to watch is what are those 1,000 people who are picked, particularly the top 10 positions. And what the co-chair of the transition team has said is that Kennedy's influence, or the influence Kennedy would like, is to have a say in how those positions get filled. And so we will see as we watch the transition unfold. Trump has made clear, he interviewed with Joe Rogan right before the election, and he said, I love Bobby as long as he stays in this lane. He said, I hate him on environment because I love oil and gas and Bobby doesn't. So he said, Bobby's got to stay in the health lane. But so far, Trump has indicated, as long as Bobby stays in the health lane, he will have a lot of influence. Now, what that means, we will know when we see what positions get staffed and how they get staffed.
Well, you know him very well, Bobby F. Kennedy. So what do you think he's going to do now?
So I think he's going to make, if you look at the results state by state, if you look at how the election worked, I think that the Kennedy group had a major hand in delivering a real Republican landslide here. And which is interesting because they tried very hard to work with the Democratic Party and coordinate with the Democratic Party, and were resoundingly rejected, and that's what put them over on the Republican side. But so I think he's made a major contribution, and he is going to try and get his people into place and fight for certain policies. But again, it's all going to come down to whether they get the right people in place in the next 3 months, and will Congress approve them? Remember, many of those positions are approved by the Senate and have to go through Senate confirmation. So you need enough alignment between the Senate and the, what the Trump team and the transition team want to do for that to happen.
Yeah, how important is it to have the Senate and the House in this case?
Very important. Very important. And that's good news if Trump wants to get us out of the WHO, get us out of the Paris Agreement. But if Trump is here to sell on behalf of the central bankers, sell us on a all digital financial and monetary system, and on a digital ID, and all these other sort of mechanics that they need to finally snap the control grid into place, then we're in real trouble. And that's today.
David, would you like to?
I was wondering, Whitney Webb posted today on X, been deluded into thinking that the deep state is purely partisan, are in for a big surprise again. She wrote, pay attention to policy action over rhetoric now that the election is over. Whitney Webb warned us for the CBDC and the digital ID. Do we have any idea of Trump's position on cases like the central bank digital?
I could not agree with Whitney Webb more. She's been giving great coverage on all of this. And if you look at what Trump has said on the digital ID, I think it's very and deeply concerning, and Whitney understands that and has covered that extensively. And so we need to be watching what Trump is saying. If you look at the different pieces of what I call the digital concentration camp that's snapping into place, Trump has been on the wrong side of many of these specific points. We do not want an all financial monetary system. We do not want a digital ID. And the last thing we want is somebody auditing or running the Federal Reserve who is on record as wanting to put a mesh network in the back of your head and hook you up to satellites. So I think, again, what you see around the president is a multiple personality disorder of people who want to build the control grid and are deep in the defense industry like Musk and Peter Thiel, but also people like Kennedy who would like to see freedom and are sincere about that. And the question is, who will win those 1,000 seats? And who will win in the policy set in the first 90 days? And if the freedom fighters can win, can they get enough people in the Senate to go along with them?
Interesting combination, Musk and Kennedy, David.
Yeah, my last question about this. How can we resist this kind of dangers globally? Because it's a global problem, the central bank digital currency, the digital IDs.
So the first thing we can do, and I think this is what Black Box has done a tremendous job of doing, is bring transparency. Because we do know the president likes transparency. We do know he will take on open debate and discussion of all of these issues. That's one of his strengths. And I think the more we bring transparency and the more we can point out the multiple personality disorder, and he knows this, he ended up with the wrong people in his administration and suffered as a result. One of the reasons he did not as well in 2020 as he might have. So I think the first and foremost thing we have to do is bring transparency. I will say this, because of the Constitution and the way the United States legal system works, there is a tremendous opportunity, given the strength and the pushback that's coming in the States, for the U.S. to, bottom up, try and turn the machinery. We've been racing toward central control, and there's now real pushback to turn. And I think if we can get the media, like a Black Box and like the groups represented here, and the people working for freedom across Europe, and working together to help turn that, we have a mighty voice to bring. And I for one, am very, very optimistic.
Is 4 years enough to get to that transparency? To get to
I think we, if we really wanted to, if we really worked together, we could get that transparency in a year or two.
Yeah, and do you contribute to that in any way?
I've been doing everything I possibly can since the financial coup started.
Ask a bank manager about your strawman account or a judge about maritime jurisdiction. Watch their faces. They'll dismiss you, dodge the question, or act as if you're speaking nonsense. But deep down, they know. This system didn't appear overnight. It was carefully constructed centuries ago to manage trade on the seas. Ships carrying goods were tracked, recorded, and valued to ensure control over commerce. Over time, this system was brought onto land, hiding in plain sight. And now it governs your...
Did winning the lottery really change your life? Suddenly I found myself with $31 million. And when I realized there was this obvious loophole in the lottery draws, I couldn't believe no one had talked about it before. This year I even appeared on television the simple way I developed
life without you even realizing it. Think of the language we use today. It exposes its origins. Currency comes from current, a flow of water. Banks control the movement of money, just like riverbanks guide the flow of a river. Your wealth is called liquid assets because money, like water, flows and moves. Fall behind on your bills? You're drowning in debt, a perfect metaphor for sinking under financial pressure, like a ship taking on water. Your paycheck is part of your current income, emphasizing the constant flow of money in motion. Money stored in an account is like water in a reservoir, held back and controlled until it's released. If a company fails, it's said to be underwater, dragged down by currents it can no longer escape. Economic collapses are called financial floods. Money moves too quickly, overwhelming systems like a storm surge. Interest on loans rises like a tide, slowly pulling borrowers deeper into debt. The stock market, described as turbulent. Waves of value crash unpredictably, lifting some while drowning others. When someone loses everything, they're drained of resources. The river runs dry and nothing flows anymore. Wealth is fluid, always moving, adapting, and disappearing if you don't know how to contain it. Even the phrase money laundering reveals the truth. Dirty money is washed clean, much like water purifies contamination. Economies facing downturns experience a financial drought, and when things go wrong, they need bailouts, literally bailing water to stop a sinking ship. This isn't just poetic language, it's a code. The financial system has been engineered like an ocean, with money constantly flowing, shifting, and circulating. And just like tides are controlled by the moon, the flow of money is controlled by those at the top, banks.
Let's be real, 2024 has been a wild ride. It itself is shifting beneath your feet. You're not alone. You're part of a unique group of individuals who are waking up to a profound truth. The world as we know it is just the tip of the iceberg. If you've been drawn to this video, it's because your soul is ready for a quantum leap in understanding. In the coming moments, we'll unravel the mysteries of this pivotal year, exploring the signs that the simulation we've been living in is starting to glitch, and what it means for your own journey of self-discovery. If you've ever had a sense that there's a deeper purpose to your existence, if you've been waiting for a cosmic green light to step into your highest potential, then consider this your personal invitation from the universe itself. Buckle up, because the truths ahead could shatter your old paradigms and open the door to a reality beyond your wildest dreams. Unusual 2024. If you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that 2024 has been filled with events that defy explanation. From the unprecedented celestial phenomena lighting up our skies to the earth-shaking shifts happening right beneath our feet, it's as if the universe itself is sending us a message.
Take a moment to reflect on the 4 consecutive supermoons that have graced our nights this year. These aren't just beautiful cosmic displays. They're signs of a rare alignment, a celestial pattern that ancient wisdom tells us signifies a great awakening. And then there are the strange sightings, the glitches in the matrix that make us question everything we thought we knew. UFOs, unexplained lights, and anomalies that challenge our understanding of reality. These aren't just random occurrences, they're invitations to expand our perception. But it's not just the skies that are speaking to us. Earth herself seems to be undergoing a transformation. Earthquakes in unexpected places, patterns that defy prediction, and a tangible sense of heaviness in the air. It's as if our planet is mirroring the shifts happening within us. If you felt a deep sense of unease or restlessness this year, know that you're not alone. The discomfort that comes.
Here's a great way to level up cash from Robinhood Gold. You can earn 9 times the national. You can also get a 3% match on eligible contributions into your IRA. These gold perks are too good to pass up. It's fast and easy to get started, so you can instantly start earning more.
Before a profound revelation. The true nature of the simulation. But what exactly is this simulation that seems to be unraveling before our eyes? Is it a computer program, a high-tech illusion created by some advanced civilization? The truth is far more profound. The simulation we're talking about isn't a mechanical construct. It's a spiritual one. It's a veil of illusions, a web of beliefs and perceptions that have kept us trapped in a limited understanding of ourselves and our reality. For eons, this simulation has convinced us that we are separate from each other, from nature, and from the divine itself. It's fed us a narrative of scarcity, fear, and powerlessness, keeping us locked in a cycle of suffering and forgetting. But here's the secret. This simulation isn't some external force controlling us. It's a collective dream we've been participating in, a story we've been telling ourselves. And now, in the crucible of 2024, that story is starting to break down. The glitches we're seeing, the anomalies we can't explain, these aren't malfunctions in some cosmic machine. They're cracks in the illusion, glimpses of a deeper truth that's been hidden from us. As the veil starts to lift, we're being invited to remember who we really are, not just physical beings trapped in a material world, but infinite spiritual beings with the power to shape our reality. The unraveling of the illusion. So what happens when the simulation starts to unravel, when the beliefs and perceptions that have held us captive begin to dissolve? It can feel like chaos. As the illusion starts to crumble, we're being given a chance to see through the veil, to awaken to the truth of our being. This isn't about escaping reality. It's about embracing a reality that's more authentic, more expansive, and more aligned with our deepest wisdom. It's about releasing the stories of limitation and separation, and stepping into a world where we recognize our inherent unity, our profound connection to all that is. But this unraveling isn't a passive process, it's a participatory one. We're not just observers of this great cosmic shift, we're co-creators of it. Every choice we make, every belief we question, every moment of presence we cultivate, these are all threads in the tapestry of a new world. As the old paradigm falls away, we're being called to anchor in a new way of being, one rooted in love, compassion, and the recognition of our inherent divinity. This is the invitation of 2024, to let the crumbling of the old be a catalyst for our own awakening, to allow the unraveling of the illusion to reveal the truth of who we are. It's not always comfortable, and it's not always easy. But as we navigate this time of profound transformation, remember that you are not alone. You are part of a great cosmic unfolding, a shift that's been whispered about for centuries, and in the heart of this change, you'll find a strength and a wisdom you never knew you had. So take a deep breath, anchor into your center, and trust the journey. The simulation may be ending, but your true life, the life you came here to live, is just beginning. An invitation to remember and awaken. In the midst of this great unraveling, A profound invitation is being extended to each and every one of us. It's a call to remember our true nature, to awaken to the magnificent beings we truly are. As the veils of illusion are lifted, we're being given an opportunity to step into a new way of being, one that's rooted in our deepest wisdom and our highest potential. This isn't about adopting a new set of beliefs or following someone else's path. It's about reconnecting with the truth that's always been within us. The knowing that we are not separate from the divine, but intrinsically connected to it. It's about releasing the layers of conditioning and fear that have kept us trapped in a limited reality, and embracing the infinite possibilities that emerge when we align with our authentic selves. As the simulation crumbles, we're being invited to let go of the stories that have defined us, the roles we've played, and the masks we've worn. We're being called to see through the illusion of duality, to recognize that the separation we've experienced is just a trick of the mind. In truth, we are all expressions of the same cosmic consciousness, each of us a unique facet of the infinite diamond of existence. This awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a journey, a process of continual unfolding, and as we navigate this path, we're being asked to anchor in a new paradigm, one based on unity, compassion, and the recognition of our inherent worth. It's about living from a place of love rather than fear, trusting in the wisdom of the universe, and embracing the fullness of who we came here to be. Navigating the transition with presence and trust. But how do we navigate this time of profound transition? How do we find our footing when the ground beneath us seems to be shifting with every step? The key lies in cultivating presence and trust, in learning to anchor ourselves in the eternal now. As the old beliefs fall away, it's natural to feel a sense of disorientation or even fear. The ego, the part of us that's identified with the illusion, will resist this change, clinging to the familiar, even as it crumbles. But this is where our spirit...
If you stop driving at night because of vision problems, try this simple ice hack with water.
Spiritual practice becomes essential. By grounding ourselves in the present moment, by connecting with our breath and our body, we create a space of stillness amidst the chaos. In this space, we can begin to observe the movements of the mind without getting caught in them. We can witness the fears and doubts that arise without identifying with them. And as we do this, a profound trust begins to emerge. A trust in the intelligence of the universe, in the perfection of the unfolding, and in our own inherent wisdom. This doesn't mean that the path will always be easy, or that we won't face challenges along the way. But as we learn to meet each moment with presence and openness, we discover a wisdom and a grace that we never knew we had. We find that we can flow with the changes, adapting and evolving as the situation requires. And as we navigate this transition, it's crucial to remember that we're not alone. We are all part of a collective awakening, a global shift in consciousness. By reaching out to others, by sharing our experiences and our insights, we create a field of resonance that supports and uplifts us all. In the heart of this community, we find the courage and the clarity to keep moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. The shift is a catalyst for personal transformation. Ultimately, the great shift that's happening in our world is a catalyst for our own personal transformation. It's an invitation to let go of the old stories and patterns that have kept us stuck, and to step into a new way of being that's more authentic, more expansive, and more aligned with our deepest truth. This transformation isn't always comfortable. It requires us to confront our shadows, to face the parts of ourselves that we've denied or suppressed. It asks us to take responsibility for our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions, recognizing that each one of us is a co-creator of the reality we experience. But as we engage in this work, as we peel back the layers of illusion and reconnect with our true essence, something extraordinary begins to happen. We start to tap into a wellspring of creativity, intuition, and wisdom that we never knew existed. We discover talents and abilities that have lain dormant, waiting for us potential. And as we step into this new way of being, we find that our lives begin to align with a higher purpose. Synchronicities and opportunities start to flow to us with ease, as if the universe is conspiring to support our evolution. We find ourselves ourselves drawn to people and situations that resonate with our authentic frequency, creating relationships and experiences that nourish us on the deepest level. This is the promise of the Great Awakening, not just a transformation of our world, but a transformation of ourselves. It's an opportunity to release the limitations that have held us back, and to step into the fullness of who we came here to be. It's a chance to reclaim our power, our joy, and our innate connection to the web of life. So as you navigate this time of profound change, remember that you are an essential part of this unfolding. Your unique journey, your specific gifts, and your personal challenges are all part of the grand tapestry of transformation. By embracing your own process of awakening, by anchoring in your truth and living from your heart, you contribute to the collective shift in ways you may never even know. The invitation is before you. The doorway to a new reality is opening. All that's required is your willingness to step through, to let go of what's been, and embrace what's waiting to be born. Trust the journey. You are exactly where you need to be. As we've explored the profound shifts and revelations of 2024, one thing becomes crystal clear. We are standing at the threshold of a new era, a time of unprecedented change and possibility. The old world, the simulation that's held us captive for so long, is crumbling, and in its place a new reality is emerging, one that's built on the principles of unity, love, and awakened consciousness. The opportunity we've been waiting for, the moment we came here to experience, it's not always easy, and it's not always comfortable. But as we navigate the challenges and the changes, as we let go of what's been and embrace what's waiting to be born, we discover a strength and a resilience that we never knew we had. We find that we are not alone, but part of a vast cosmic family, all working together to birth a new world. So as we come to the end of this video, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on your own journey. What has 2024 revealed to you? What illusions have been shattered, and what truths have been unveiled?
And what are you going to do about it, right? So, here I am, your good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Dreamy with Dreamland, your Sensei Alba, here to tell you a story. Well, here it is, 1 hour and 20, and I'm going to go soon. I'm just on some folk before the snow starts to fall down, and I'm going to do it next hour or two, and keep going until this time tomorrow. So we'll either get 3 or 4 inches or 10, right? I'm going to be in an undisclosed warm place, warm-ish, and we'll go from there. Okay. So I'll see you later, alligator, in a while, crocodile. And remember this, I'm always with you. Remember to breathe. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. What is that conscious intent? Love's co-creation. Love's co-creation I am. I am love's co-creation. It's a mantra. I am love's co-creation. I am love's co-creation. I am love's co-creation. So say that from now till New Year's. I am love's co-creation. Remember that New Year's Day isn't the first day of the year. No, sorry. September is. September 23rd is duh. At least it's Jesus' birthday. If you want to really know, April 1st is the New Year, right? Because it's just before everything gets born, born, right? Just before Easter, just before the Easter bunny, A lot of Easter bunnies out there humping away and popping out little baby bunnies. And that's your new spirit, the baby bunny new spirit, right? Right now, this is just, the Google log, right? What is that? That was an ancient Mesopotamian god, and you burned a log in their name. And what's a Christmas tree but another pagan tradition of another god, right? Where you would nail the tree to the floor so it couldn't move, right? So you could keep, and then you put gold on it, all these decorations that represented your wealth, in gold. I mean, it's all there. It's not really invisible. I mean, if a puddinhead like me can see all this stuff and know what places to look and go on my Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob and look at my 2000 shows. I've been talking about the big swap for a good 7 years. And all, if you go look at not my videos, but the videos I've been watching, look at all of them. They're all linked. You can go see them all. Really, there are a lot of them there that have been taken down, but they're still on my list. That's what you should be doing with my shows. Go pick out the top 20 that you really like and put them on your video feed up there so they don't go away, right? Put them on a thumb drive, right? But they're in a physical form. Otherwise, good luck for what's coming. I think this show kind of had a nice little raison d'etre of everything. And I'm going to be back sometime around 5 or 6, maybe sometime between 5 and 6, right? And then probably later around 10 p.m. tonight. So all you people who are all over the world, and that's during the middle of your day, come and visit. I think sometime around 6 p.m. is in the beginning of the day for a lot of you over there in Europe, or noon, whatever it is. So anyway, I love you guys, and this season is, it's a happy-go-lucky, puddinhead kind of thing, and you should be carrying this day 365 in your heart. December 25th, but 365. And every day's Christmas, right? We went from 5 to 2. Nobody wanted to hear that one. So how about some more likes? Come on, if you like the show, like it, subscribe it, get your friends to subscribe. Let's get up there for 2025. Let's get over 1,000 subscriptions. We can do that, right? It's almost 600 right now. Over that, the algorithm will start pushing this towards other people. Start putting it in your thread. Send it to other people. But your Sensei Bob won't be here, at least in this form. He won't be here. Anyway, so love you guys. Catch you later.